And a happy new year to all my subscribers. Between Christmas and the New Year, I went on a Hertfordshire Rail Tours trip to the RIDC, which is the Rail Innovation and Development Centre, on a charter train called the Pieman. And here we are, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. In the late 1960s, VR Research Division acquired 2 stretches of redundant lines within reach of their HQ in Derby. These were subsequently converted into test tracks and used for numerous tests and trials, which could not easily be conducted on the main line. One line was intended for high speeds and the other for lower speeds. The low speed line became known as the Mickleover Test Track and was closed altogether in 1990. But the high-speed line, which became known as the Old Dalby Test Track, after the name of the village and former station. The line is 13 3/4 miles long and took over most of the recently closed line that ran from Melton Mowbray to Nottingham, stopping short of Edwarton on the city's southern outskirts. The line was owned by Research Division until the late 1980s, when it was taken over by the DM and EE and finally by Rail Test. Following privatisation of the railways, the test track ownership was transferred to BRB Residuary Limited. In 1997, Serco Rail Test came into being following purchase of part of the former DM and EE by Serco plc. In 2000, after a few years with minimal use by DM and EE and later Serco, the lease was renegotiated and was transferred to Alstom Transport Limited, who upgraded and electrified the line during 2001, specifically to test and commission the Virgin Pendolino trains. Although the line was formerly known as the Old Dalby Test Track, Alstom renamed it Alstom Midlands Test Centre, AMTC, and under their ownership the HQ has moved from the original Old Dalby site to Asford B, occupying various buildings at the former mine complex. The next phase in the line's history came in 2007, when Metronet announced their intention to lease the test track. In 2009, the first S-Stop train arrived from Bombardier Derby, and newly installed 3rd and 4th rail DC electrification was switched on. At the present time, the line is engaged in testing of Crossrail, or Elizabethan line, electric units. Despite all the sophisticated testing that has gone on, a lot of people still associate the line with the Central Electricity Generating Board's nuclear flask crash test, which took place on the 17th of July 1984. The collision was a public demonstration staged to dispel fears that a nuclear waste flask could not survive the impact of a major rail crash. Needless to say, the flask survived intact, unlike the locomotives, which were 2 redundant Class 46s, 46009 and 46023. The impact was so spectacular and appeared on television around the world. Guests were then allowed to view the wreckage at close quarters. The sad remains of 46009 and its 3 carriages were cut up on site by Vic Berries of Leicester.
Well, as we've got a few minutes in hand, we've asked the driver just to stop here in Old Dalby, very close to the site of the staged Class 46 CGB train crash. We'll be here for 5 or 10 minutes just to lose a bit of time.
I boarded the train at Euston at about 10 to 9 and remained on the train until we got back to Euston at about 5 to 7. It was quite a long day for sitting on a train, but I quite enjoyed it. The only downside was the fact that the heater was right underneath my seat and it was so hot. I had big thick socks on and padded trousers on because I thought it would be chilly. Oh dear, terrible. Luckily enough, when we got to Blenchley, I was able to swap seats and cool down a bit because there was no heater. And finally, there's a few photos here of the trains, or the engines I should say, that took us on the trip. And also the Freightliner one is the Caledonian Sleeper. And there's about to come up a couple of the Class 347s and a couple of Class 08s. Anyway, they're great trips and I really enjoy them, and I'm looking forward to my next one. Anyway, I'll see you around next time. All the best.